As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice caliente.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I am your host, Josh G. And today I am joined by Bex Goos, aka the Potato Lady on Twitter. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you give everyone a little bit about what you do? Because I know you're just more than just being on Twitter. So
Sure, yeah. I am on Twitter a lot these days, though, by surprise. But I am an English teacher. I'm a high school English teacher in North Dakota. That's not where I'm from. I'm from Los Angeles, but my husband's from North Dakota. So we moved out here to be in the peaceful city as opposed to the chaotic one I grew up in. And I have 2 kids, and I have a podcast as well with my husband called Not Again with an exclamation point. And I do podcast reviews on Twitter. Besides, you said not on Twitter, but sometimes I'm on Twitter.
there you go. So today we're going to be reviewing a movie from 2010, directed by Edgar Wright. This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Hey, what's up? I'll leave you alone forever now. You know this one girl with hair like this?
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
She's out of your league.
You know her? Tell me now.
She just moved here, got a job at Amazon.
I have to order something really cool.
Scott, are you waiting for the package you just ordered?
Maybe.
Scott Pilgrim?
Hi, I was thinking about asking you out, but then I realized how stupid that would be.
That's okay. You just need to sign for this, all right?
So do you want to go out sometime?
If I say yes, will you sign for your damn package?
So yeah, 8 o'clock? Come to this Battle of the Bands thing.
You have a band.
Yeah, we're terrible.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Mr. Pilgrim! I'm Ramona's first evil ex-boyfriend.
What?
Wait, we're fighting over Ramona?
Didn't you get my email explaining the situation?
I skimmed it. What was that all about?
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes.
So what you're saying is we are dating?
I guess.
Does that mean we can make out?
Sure.
Scott Pilgrim! Prepare to feel the wrath of the League of Evil Exes.
Ramona dated twins.
At the same time? If you want something bad, you have to fight for it. Step up your game, Scott.
Combo!
Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
What are you doing?
Getting a life.
You want to fight me for her? Why on earth would you want to do that?
Because I'm in love with her.
Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
Maybe next time we don't date the girl with 11 evil ex-boyfriends.
7.
Oh, that's not that bad.
So when did you first see this film?
I saw it twice in theaters. I did not know the graphic novels at the time either. And so I did it backwards, where I saw the movie and loved it and then picked up the graphic novels and read through them in like one sitting. I think I saw it probably within a week of it being released. I don't even remember how I heard about it. I think a friend took me to see it, and we were just so blown away by how different it was and how funny it was that I had to take a different friend to go see it. And I was more than happy to pay for another movie theater ticket. Of course, now I really miss movie theaters a lot.
Don't we all? Don't we all? So what makes you put this at the top, or at least near the top of your list?
That is a good question. So I do struggle to pick a favorite movie, and a lot of times it depends on the mood that you're in. Do you want to watch a cartoon? Do you want to watch a serious drama? But Scott Pilgrim did something that I would call entirely unique. It is not just a satire. It is not just a comic book movie. It is not just a comedy or an action movie. It really kind of forged its own genre and I haven't seen anything that really competes with it as far as like content and story and editing and special effects go. And I think on top of that, when we look at how badly book or comic book adaptations to movies can go, Percy Jackson and Ella Enchanted, to see that they managed to take a whole comic book series or graphic novel series really and keep the essence of it even while cutting out enough to make it a movie, I think that's really impressive. They clearly cared about the source material, and so it has a special place in my heart. It's one of those movies that I could always watch any time of day. If you were like, hey, watch a movie, and you suggested Scott Pilgrim, I would watch it.
So I have not read the source material, but really it's interesting because it actually comes off as a video game movie.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I call it an homage to video games. I think that it has little Easter eggs for people who game and like old school gaming too, Zelda and Mario and things like that, getting coins when you defeat a villain. It exists somewhere in a liminal space between real world and complete fantasy, and I love that. And I am a huge video game nerd, so that's another reason I like it.
Okay, so for anyone that may have not seen this one yet, why don't you just give a brief synopsis of what it's about?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So Scott Pilgrim versus the World is about Scott Pilgrim, the titular Scott Pilgrim. He is coming off of a recent breakup, or actually not so recent. It's been about a year, and he's dating anew. But as he is dating one girl, he meets another one who is mysterious and can apparently teleport herself through his head. And when he starts crushing on her, he discovers that she has 7 evil exes that he must defeat in order to be with her in a relationship. And the movie takes on a video game-esque quality as Scott goes through fight scenes and levels up and gets extra lives and defeats these exes in amazingly choreographed and edited battles, including stars like Chris Evans and Brandon Routh. And at the end, I won't spoil it too much, but he has to make some decisions about himself and his love life.
So, yep, and you put it perfectly, because I don't like to spoil these movies, because I'm hoping to introduce these movies to new people without giving away completely what happens at the end. Let's say back in 2011, this came out in 2010. So let's say 11 or 12, you got to have a sequel. What would you have wanted to see in a sequel?
I feel like rather than, I mean, I have 2 answers to this question. One is rather than a sequel, they did do like an alternate ending. And I don't want to spoil anything, but if they had kind of run with a what if of this movie, what if he had made a couple different decisions?
Okay.
I would have liked to see that. I also know that the same author, we'll say, of the comics did other work that I think would have made an awesome kind of like not sequel, but follow-up movie that I would have liked to watch as well.
Kind of like a spiritual sequel in a way.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So if they were to remake this movie, because we love remakes, and even though it's only 10 years old, we probably had 2 or 3 Spider-Mans within a 10 to 15 year span, so they can do it if they want. Who would you like to see in some of these roles?
So I will say I think the casting for this movie was spot on. I'm really impressed by it. And this was the first time that I saw Michael Cera in a role where he had kind of a dynamic character to play. So I am very happy with it. But what I was thinking was, what if we played around a little bit so that it's not just an almost entirely white cast? Because of course we have Knives Chow, who is Chinese, and I believe her actress is Ellen Wong. She's fantastic, but everyone else is white. So I thought, what if we kind of cast someone a little different? So I thought for Scott, I was thinking Justice Smith. He's been in a couple movies that I've seen. He was in the adaptation of Paper Towns by John Green as Radar, who is actually the namesake of our dog Radar. So that's interesting to me. But more importantly, he was in Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which is a movie I love, as the main character. And he played kind of a dorky but endearing and kind of self-conscious person that I think that would translate really well to Scott.
Okay, so that's your Scott Pilgrim. All right.
Yeah, to Scott Pilgrim. And then similarly, so my husband loves this movie as well, but he actually has a problem with Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ramona.
Okay.
He thinks that she doesn't earn the devotion that Scott gives her. because she's supposed to be kind of aloof and mysterious, but she comes off as kind of personalityless a little bit, in his opinion. I can see where he's coming from. And so I thought, like, why not cast somebody who has a lot of charisma and kind of that allure as well. And I've only seen her in one thing, but I loved it. So her name is Amanda Stenberg, and she was in The Hate U Give as the main character, as Star.
Okay, then I know you're talking about.
Yes, and she has the most, like, she's charismatic, and just her smile can really draw a person in. Like, I can see her playing somebody who is mysterious, that somebody wants to get to know and wants to be with, but also kind of has that commanding, controlling nature and personality where she's so confident in herself that she doesn't need anyone else's validation, but she also has that hidden insecurity. And I think that's Ramona all the way. And so that's what I was thinking about for kind of the two leads. And my husband and I were kind of joking around about having Don Glover come in as Wallace. He's a little too old for the part now, but like if we could somehow time travel and get a younger Don Glover, he would just nail it, I feel like.
Ooh, how about some of the other exes? Like you get cameos from like Chris Evans, Jason Schwartzman, Brandon Routh. You got anybody that you would want to put in those just to get some variety, just to get some new cameos?
If you give me a minute, I lingered so long on my discussion of and my thinking of Scott, because I wanted to really nail the main parts that I just, I will say, seeing Chris Evans in a comedic role, I know that he did way back in the day, Not Another Teen Movie. I think that was it.
That's actually the first thing I ever saw him in. So yeah.
That was like way back in the day, comedic role, but like then he got kind of typecast as the hero type or the love interest type, and so to see him just letting loose and being ridiculous is actually really refreshing. And so I like that a lot, especially since I really do believe that the actors did a good job in this movie. Sometimes I'm a little like where I'm just like I'm not sure about that decision. I would you know what I would love to see Rob Pattinson letting loose in one of the X roles, maybe the vegan one. I think that's Brandon Routh's role.
Routh, yeah.
I will leave it at that, because I think that that's a really good. I would love to see that. I know that he's possibly Batman now.
Yeah, no, he's Batman. He's Batman.
But like Batman isn't a part where you can really be ridiculous, And I think that Rob Pattinson deserves a chance to be ridiculous. He's been kind of caught up in the whole Twilight world for so long, and Water for Elephants didn't do that great, and I would love to see that. And he let him be British as well. Stop making him do American accents.
I have seen him in some other stuff since Twilight. I didn't watch Water for Elephants. If you watch a movie like Good Time or The Rover or The Lighthouse or even The Devil All the Time that came on Netflix this year, I think that was this year. Might have been last year.
Busy.
Yeah, he's had a lot of roles. Yeah, he has broken away quite nicely, actually. I'm actually very surprised by his acting ability now that I've seen him outside of the Twilight saga.
Yeah, I think Kristen Stewart as well. Like, people panned the new Charlie's Angels, but the one thing critics said was that she carried that movie, and I fully agree. I think Kristen Stewart has come into her own as a person and an actress, and that sounds really condescending now that I think about it. But like I used to be not impressed with her at all. And now I see kind of more where she's coming from. And I loved her in Charlie's Angels. I thought she was a blast. So I didn't love other things about that movie, but she was great.
I did not watch that one, so I cannot comment on it one way or the other.
Yeah. So. Oh, heck, get her in as the evil. Oh, that's kind of a spoiler. There's an evil ex who is a woman. I guess that's probably people. The dramatic irony allows you to predict that way ahead of the character. So I'll say that, and you can if you want.
Yeah. I mean,
there's an evil ex who's a woman, and I could see Kristen Stewart. I mean, Mae Whitman did such an amazing job, but Kristen Stewart in that role would have been fun.
Yeah, so I rewatched this recently for the first time in a long time, and I actually had forgotten that Brie Larson was Scott's original ex.
Yeah.
Way before Captain Marvel or anything, or even Room, where she won her Oscar. So that was kind of fun to see her in a smaller role, obviously.
Yeah, I almost don't recognize her, if that makes sense. Like she's just completely. I mean, maybe it's just the really bleached out hair or something, but yeah, there's a lot of bigger names in this movie, and it's sad because I don't think it really did as well in the box office as it deserved, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because it's on Netflix now. and at time of recording. And it's just such a passion project, and there's so much love in it. They knew that it would cost a ton of money to get all the special effects in it that it would require to really be a proper adaptation, and they did it. They went for that, knowing that it might be a loss in the end. And so it really is a movie that is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I agree. So what I want you to do is give your final pitch. If someone's still not sold on why they should watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World, just give that final pitch.
If you like unexpected humor and a little bit of hipster action and really amazing effects and choreography and something that you're not really going to see anywhere else in the movie theater, and you're just looking for a good time, and to use Anna Kendrick as your audience surrogate, who she'll do the job of asking what's going on for you, don't you worry. I think that you're going to have a great time with this movie. Just go in with an open mind and let it take you for a ride.
Yep, I agree with all of that. I definitely say it's worth a shot. So I think you have wrapped this one up nicely. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Sure. I am at Bex Goos. That's BEXGOOS. Don't put an E at the end of my name. It's pronounced like the bird. It does not spelled like the bird. And then if you want, you can also find my husband's and my podcast, Not Again, with an exclamation point, at Not Again Pod on Twitter as well.
All right. And as always, you can follow the show at ynfmoviepod on Twitter and Instagram. We're available wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to come back next week, as I'll have a new guest and a new movie. And who knows, that may become your next favorite movie. You guys take care. I'll talk to you next time.